Real Talk with Kingsley Ogudere. This is the video podcast where you get all of the African sports, all of the inside stories, everything that you ever wanted to know about African basketball. We'll give you all the insights, all the juicy details that you want to know. We're going to keep it real. We're going to keep it sports. Believe me, this is going to be hype. Stay tuned. You don't want to miss this. Welcome to a very special episode of Real Talk with Kingsley Ogudere. This is your boy, and as we do it here on this podcast, we try to make it happen. We talk to all my peoples. Today, we're going to be talking to, Louis Edem, and this guy is a fellow Nigerian. We got to have my peoples on.
That's what we're talking about.
Himself a little bit. He's a fellow basketball player, and I would say, very knowledgeable. So we're gonna get into it a little bit. But Louis, please introduce yourself, man.
Well, I'm Louis Edem, just like you said. I'm an ex basketball professional. Played for a little bit in Europe. Played on the national team in Nigeria. Right now I'm retired. I've been retired for since 2014. And right now I'm a IT engineer, based out. I'm based here in Maryland, 20 minutes from DC. So.
Yeah, and believe me, when I bring somebody on, I don't have just anybody on, as you guys know. So Louis, he knows a lot about basketball, but you also played basketball in Nigeria at one point, right?
Yeah. I played for a few local teams. I was in a national team camp with you one time, and I think it was in 2003. They were hosting. That was the year Nigeria hosted the African Games. I don't know if you remember, but you guys were the big dogs back in the days. We were rookies on the team, so.
I was trying to fit in where I can, man. These guys.
Oh man, you were like Lebron on that team, man. So yeah, but we were dropped. That was one of the. I think the only chance that I got to be on the same team with you, at least while the camp lasted. But it was a great experience, man.
I always loved coming to Nigeria. Playing on the national team was a great honor, and like I tell people, I met so many people there. Kind of like what I talk about on the show. So it was great. Now, did you play in the Middle East too, or?
I played in Kuwait and Bahrain. I started out in Bahrain in 2006. And then I played a season in Bahrain, and then I moved over to Kuwait and played 7 seasons in Kuwait.
Now, one thing I always noticed about you were always physically fit,
Yeah.
What is this guy doing? Is he lifting the whole house? Or like...
I mean, you know how it is, man. I mean, you've been a pro, like you got to stay ready, just, staying ready is both mentally and, physically, you got to get your body ready for the game. It's not easy playing pro. I mean, it's not easy, man.
I try to tell people that all the time, and the funny thing is, like, I'm a shit talker. I don't hide from it. So when I'm, I call it my regular life, because like when I was playing professional, people didn't realize that is that I would go home and I go to the 24-hour fitness. And I'm damn near in fights in there, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I know, man.
You get to talking shit. I'm like, okay, let's get it on, and I was raised in San Jose, California, where, the best way I can put it is, you know how Gary Payton talks shit, I feel like it's just a California thing. We talk up and down, if I can't beat you, I'm going to talk you out the game, like I said, though, I always admire, like, you always, kept yourself physically fit, and, the Nigerian players, the one thing I loved about is intensity. They always brought it, like whether it was national team, it didn't matter. I remember when the first time I met Mustafa Abdul Salam.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He was my teammate in Antranik, you know.
Okay.
And I remember, you know, and I remember seeing him, and I was like, this guy is like freaking awesome, like amazing,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And the first thing I was like, you know, like, do they know about this guy? How come he's not on the national team? You know,
I know.
you know what I mean? It was like, it was crazy.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, wait a minute, you know. And you know, and I talked to him. He was like, yeah, you know, like sometimes this and that, you know, and I never forgot it. I was like, you know, like this guy is, you know, his Mustafa, like, yeah, I remember a game. That fool had like 21 points, like 18 rebounds, and it was like maybe like halftime. I'm like,
yeah.
what kind of shit is this? You know,
Mustafa was a beast, man.
Yeah, you know. So, but it was like Nigeria was like that. You know, I run across somebody, I'm like, oh my god, this fool like is awesome. You know, like you know, and so that's literally, you know, I feel like that's you know the way. So I'm not surprised. And you know, and I ran across so many people on that national team, you know, and I was like, I always looked at, I was like, man, he looks hella familiar, and I always wanted my paths cross, you know. So at least we got a chance, you know, to do a little something. I wish we had a little bit more.
I mean, like, you were an inspiration, man. It was you and Acha for me back in those days, you know, because you know you had a killer crossover, man. Like when I saw you in camp, you know, I'd never seen someone that quick with a crossover. And nobody could guard you, you know. So we were home based then. So after practice, we would go back to our rooms and talk about it. I'm like, man, that guy Kingsley, man, did you see what he did? You know. So it was you and Acha, you know, and you guys looked fit too. And when I tried to talk to you back in those days, you know, you were very like approachable, you know, and friendly. You know, that was around that time that R. Kelly had Scandal tape out, you know.
Yeah.
And I remember that you and I talked about it. You know, I came to your room, you know, to ask for advice, and you talked to me, you know. So those are moments that, you know, that are really precious to me, you know, like, you know, because back then I was home based, I was thinking about going pro, and just to have that opportunity to be in a national camp with people that you've heard about, and now you're watching them live, you know, like it helped, you know, take me to the next level, you know, because even though we didn't make it to the team or make it to the final cut, you know, trust me, man, when we went back to our clubs, man, we were trying to mimic those crossovers and, you know, lanes, you know, and all that stuff, man. So, yeah, so I really appreciate, you know, like
it's honestly, man, it's amazing kind of like hearing some of this, you know, and the reason is because like I'm a fan, you know what I mean? And I just keep it real, like, because it was a tremendous opportunity for me. And I remember, like, you know, like being in the camp, and I would go back and I would go back and hang out with, you know, the local club guys, you know. And I remember going back to like some of their clubhouses and stuff and kind of hanging out and just kind of seeing how everything is.
Yeah.
And it always motivated me, you know, just kind of like I appreciated the opportunity that I had, basically, you know, because there's a lot of times, you know, I think that, you know, we just take things for granted, you know, and I always looked at it like, hey, I'm happy to be here, and any opportunity to play basketball and like you know, I'll talk with basketball guys, man, you know, I can do that shit all day long. Like, I mean, I love talking basketball. You know, I mean, it's just, you know, and so I enjoyed you guys, and I always felt that, you know, our interactions, you know, if anything else, if it helps improve the local leagues, you know, that's something I'm really big on, you know, and that's actually one of the things that, you know, I'm hoping that in the future that we'll be able to feature a little bit more and what's going on down there in some of the local leagues, and, you know, when they you know, up and running and going at it, because you know, it's a great opportunity, you know, like we can use some of this platform and feature some of these games, because I talk about African basketball, and I talk about, you know, literally like Nigerian guys, you know, like what they can do. I think that if people really saw the games, you know, and saw how skilled these guys are, you know, I mean, it's phenomenal, because I played all over the world, and believe me, you know, some of the most skilled guys I've seen in Nigerian, local leagues, don't make big money, if they just
That's
get an
true.
opportunity to play somewhere else,
That's true. Now
So
that's another thing, like they don't, like I don't know if you guys noticed back then, when I say guys, like I'm talking about the professionals back then. As a matter of fact, I was in the same camp with you, with Tunji, Julius, and Acha in 2001. So 2003 was the second time, right? There was a lot of politicking happening, like you would have a situation where the teams that were based in the Atlantic Conference, that was Lagos, right? They had this kind of like clique going on where, they would only feature players from certain teams.
okay.
And those teams would actually use that as a recruiting pitch towards talented players from different parts of the country. Like they tell you, hey, come play for Comets or Islanders, You know why? Because you get a chance to play on the national team. So, that is part of what is killing basketball in Nigeria, all that politicking, like those guys don't really care about the players, like they would bring professionals to the country for sure so that they can raise money. They're not bringing you guys so you guys can prepare for the tournament, right? They just, let's bring these guys back home, but all that is for sure so they can get money from the ministry and all those sponsors. So they don't care about a local league, like I was in the same camp, NBA camp in South Africa with, there's this Angola kid that I went to camp with in 2001, I think, no, 2003, right? I don't remember his name, but he tried out with the Raptors, right? It was me and him, we were MVPs, right? And just looking at how his career went, because he played in the local league in Angola, where, those people are more focused and interested in, actually doing basketball. And he went far, But look at me, like I went back home and with all that politicking, because I was one of those guys that did not sell out, like I was always true to the game, There's no way you're going to come try to recruit me to your team because, you're telling me that I'll get a chance to play for the national team, So it was never like that with me, So because of all that politicking, a lot of talents were lost, man. Like you haven't seen anything. If you go down to the north, like Jos, Kaduna, Bauchi, they got like beasts, people that would easily make first round in the NBA, man. I'm not kidding you, man. Because I live in Nigeria, I grew up with those guys, But because of all that politicking, they don't get exposed, they don't get seen, So that's
what do you think? What do you think is going to take, to change or to kind of,
Honestly, I would love to sound like I have hope, but if you look at the whole Nigerian situation generally with the corruption, it's a part of the fabric of the culture. I mean, you see a regular guy in traffic, and he would get stopped by a police guy, and he would give some money so he can get past the checkpoint, right? And he doesn't stop for a second to think that what he did was wrong, right? So it's normal for you to give something to get something, right? So it's a part of the culture. And like the few times that you've seen guys try to go back and try to, introduce a different way, they would take you out. They would take you out, man. So if you have like some like-minded guys that really want to do basketball, genuinely, it would be easy, there would be hope. But honestly, man, the whole system is really messed up, man. Like I'm telling you.
It seemed like, with Africa,
Yeah.
a lot of times we run into, a lot of the corruption and and I would say the people that don't have the right mindset. Now, in basketball, I know that I've seen a lot, it just kind of being around basketball in Africa or just, in general, I've seen a lot of, a lot of negative, how, the improper way, how it can influence the game.
Yeah.
What I want to, kind of find out or try to, figure out, is the Nigerian way, because there's we talk about a lot of things that, some of those problems, and believe me, I know that the federations and even the preparation for tournaments, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure how it is today, but kind of like what you alluded to when we were playing. Sometimes we need to be in camp for 2-3 months prepared, but it's a short camp, a week. A few, something of that nature, and some
in
of
Nigeria,
and the people that's been at camp, maybe for the last 2 months, and the final team is not reflective of, I mean, it's like, so it's almost like two different camps,
True.
All right, so a lot of that is in management, and people not, knowing, because like one of the reasons we always lost to Angola, right, and the Angolans knew this, is that they were well prepared.
Yeah.
And they would spend, 3-4 months, traveling as a unit, the final team that you have, not the tryout team, the core team that you already know, spending, 2-3 months traveling, playing against, good competition. I know that Nigeria did it in 1998. We had a very phenomenal.
You guys played the World Cup?
Yes. Yeah. We went to World Championship in Greece. That was a phenomenal camp, and I think in my time playing with the Nigerian national team, that was the best camp that we had.
Yeah, that was when this guy was still the basketball chief.
Dwyane Buba.
Yeah, Buba. Yeah. Buba was good for the game.
Yeah,
Buba was good for the league, man.
I have to say that he was. And
then this guy Kida, I feel like I need to throw that in. This guy Musa Kida that just got in, I know things are like a little stagnant right now, but I think that he would be good for our basketball, because I've seen some of the things that he's done with the local league. Even though they're frustrating him, I don't think he's there for himself. Honestly, I don't care what people put online. I don't know the guy personally. I'm not trying to buy favors for him. As a matter of fact, like I'm not thinking about going back home and doing basketball because of how the atmosphere is. But I think the guy can bring a lot, to the game, because he loves the game genuinely. And before he got into the basketball politics, he was doing a lot in the background in the South, in Port Harcourt. It's just very unfortunate that he got into this fight with Ahmed, and see how that has affected the whole basketball league. And this guy's sitting out for I think this is the 4th year now, and there's no league. But I just want to take I just wanted to take a moment, to just give him a shout out, and he should hang in there and keep fighting.
And that's very interesting, because I honestly, I don't have a lot of information about what's really transpiring. I hear bits and pieces, why the league is not functioning, and one of the things that I wanted to be in a situation where hopefully we can help mend some of those and those gaps. So the league is very, very important to me. I hopefully we can have some discussions about the right thing to do to get those leagues going, because
I think the best thing to do is not even to get involved in all that politics. The best thing to do, if we out here can just like you said, get together and talk about it and try to put something together, put up a plan. I think the best thing would be to go back home and run a parallel league, and not, something that doesn't have anything to do with the National Basketball League, because, they're not ready right now. There's just a lot going on, like I just talked about, this guy that got in. I was in Abuja when the elections were held, and it was a clean, event. I was with AGK where he contested to be players president. The election was held by the Ministry of Sports, but just like the normal African thing where you do 2 terms of 4 years each, and then you want to extend and do a 3rd term or a 4th term. That's what happened, like this guy, Tijani, I know him very well, like I used to play basketball with him in Kaduna back in those days, he was older, but, like we played together. So I know him. He's not a bad guy, right? But he was there for 2 terms of 4 years each. That's 8 years, right? And then it was time for him to go. And in a country like Nigeria, where you have a lot of guys with so many different ideas that can bring a lot of spice to the mix and make things better. He was trying to hijack the constitution, the basketball constitution, and extend his term to a third term, and that's what the Ministry of Sports was not having, so they held their elections in Abuja while TJ had his in Kano, so like going back to what we can do to help and make things better, I think one of the areas we can look at is how we can go back and run a parallel league, something totally different, call it a different name, get permission to run that stuff and show an example, and if we can start something, we would get a lot of support from over here, like the States.
And, that's very interesting, because you said get permission. How is that going to work with, because
so if you, because I know before you can run something like that, you have to get a heads up from the Ministry of Sports, right? And usually if you're coming from outside of the country, how Nigerians are fascinated by stuff from outside, foreign stuff, if you're coming out there and selling an idea of doing something that would take, especially now with the security situation in Nigeria, where a lot of these youths are not employed, they're home. So they're like sitting gunpowders for violence and crime. So if you're going back there and saying, okay, this is what I want to do, to get these kids engaged and doing something they love doing, I think you would get support. So, but I think you need to get some kind of license to run something like that,
Well, Nigeria is a very interesting place because normally no one gets behind anything until it's successful,
Yeah, kind of. But you don't really need a lot of, if we come together, because there are a lot of us here, right? Mm-hmm. There are a handful of us, and it's not going to take a lot for us to go back home and maybe even run like a 2 weeks thing or like a 1 week thing to start, like a round robin kind of tournament where, you invite different teams to come and play and sell it to the media and stuff like that. I think you would get support because I see a lot of guys that you and I don't even know about. And I go on Facebook and I see that, they went to one part of Nigeria and they ran something and got the support of the state government, So, yeah.
It's interesting because I've had some talks with the likes of Julius Wonsu and mm-hmm. Even, Lonzo Nzekwe, the movie director mm-hmm. that last featured on the show. They're doing, certain things, renovating some courts. And I've had, talk with, Jeff Barham and Julius Wonsu about something of a tournament, something of that nature.
Yeah.
My goal is I would like something where, we have activities for local players because, it's very important that they continue to grow their game. One of the things that I loved, doing was my interaction, kind of like what you mentioned, with some of the local guys. I remember, Mufu, Ibrahim.
Mufu
responded very, very well. He became one of my good guys, when I was there. Abdul Rahman, at that time, these guys, because it was, it's just, I loved hanging out with them and just kind of picking their brain about, their basketball and I had an opportunity. I think it was in '99 to play with these guys. Some of the junior guys, we went on a tournament through Europe with Daniel Okonkwo.
Okay.
He was actually captain of that team, and we played Dirk Nowitzki's team.
Okay.
Germany. So we went through Belgium, Germany, and a few exhibition game, and it was one of the best times that I had because it gave us a chance to bond with some of the the younger guys that were that normally they wouldn't be in camp with us. When and those guys are back, right? And I remember thinking like this is how it should be. And
Yeah.
we never did that again. Like at least I didn't participate in that again, and I think that was something that would have strengthened the Nigerian national team. Having a mixture of veterans, senior, guys kind of like on the senior team, up and coming guys, because on that tour was likes of Olumide, Soon, a helicopter.
Helicopter was good, man.
Yeah, and I'm talking about like a couple of those guys. A few years later, I remember getting a call from an agent, and I think this was probably like 2000 and I would like to say maybe around 2005 or 6 or something. No, it has to be later than that because I was. I was, working, and basically they flew me out to Chicago to the Chicago Combine, the NBA draft. Because, they had an interest in a couple of the guys, and I think it was like helicopter, and I forgot who the other two guys were, but they had interest on drafting these guys, and they wanted to, to kind of get some insights and so. And that's what I'm talking about is that you never know where the opportunities are, right?
True.
I had actually an opportunity to do scouting for the Dallas Mavericks. I'm still kicking myself.
Oh, wow.
I turned that job down.
I know, right?
Like you just like
what were you thinking, man? I mean, that's how Masai got where he is, right?
Man, and I thought about that years later. I was like, I'm a because I had a call from Donnie Nelson. Donnie Nelson directly himself. Hey,
wow.
We started chatting. And he was like, hey, I want you to talk to the guy that's running the Ball Africa League right now.
What's his name?
I keep forgetting his name. He's from Senegal. He was with he was with the Dallas Mavericks at the time. I'll tell you why I didn't really want the job, because it was international scouting, right? Man, I've been traveling all over the freaking world, man. I'm just back in America. I just want to relax. I hate flying.
He was trying to send you back out there, huh?
If he would have said like, hey, I get to scout like right here in the States, man, he wanted to send me back to Africa and all over the Middle East. I'm like, golly, man, let me just rest a little bit, man. That's one of those things that you know what I mean? Like you don't know where. I still think about it. I'm like, shit.
And who knows, man? Maybe you would have been a GM for one of those teams, man.
I'm telling you, man, because
I started. He was scouting like even without getting paid.
Yeah.
Just traveling all around the place, and then boom, it happened.
Masai is one of those. He's one of those smart guys, man. He's very
he's very smart.
I met him in I think it was '98. And he was in camp with us. In '98. So and I remember when I think I had a conversation with him about he's gonna go do scouting or be an agent or something. I'm like, I'm still young, I'm glad that he stuck with it, because I mean it's phenomenal. He's built a championship over there in Toronto. So I'm very.
That's one guy we want to reach out to too. If we decide that want to put something together, that's somebody that's definitely worth reaching out to and trying to bring him on board. And he's very, very approachable. He's a nice guy. He's very great. I was in China with him in 2001 for the World University Games. As a matter of fact, we stayed in the same room. And I got a chance to pick his mind a little bit. He's a very humble guy. If you don't know him, you might get a wrong impression, but he's very humble, man. And that's why he was able to get to where he is right now. So.
Yeah, that's he done a phenomenal job. I knew, I was like, this guy got he must have some huge balls on him, man, because he traded Carmelo. I remember when he traded Carmelo, this guy's got a fucking balls. He's traded Carmelo,
Yeah, he got hot, man. He got hot.
And then he did what he did, and then it's kind of like all of that shit makes sense, and you can see the genius behind it. So I definitely I love what he's done over there.
Mhm.
Even though some of it came at at the expense of the Warriors over here. I was rooting for the Warriors, and then I was like, man, my sign's over there. Like, what am I gonna do over? And
Yeah.
thank God, I'm like, I'm really a Laker fan. So when
I know.
most Laker fans hate on the Warriors and stuff, but I'm one of those basketball people. Like, I'm like, man,
You
like,
can't be a Laker fan and be attacking LeBron the way you do, man. Come on now.
hey,
Come on, man.
look,
He's a Laker now, right? You wouldn't attack Magic like that if he had a bad series, right? Would you?
I'll tell the truth, man. Like, when I was coming up, it was Boston Celtics and the Lakers,
Yeah.
and I used to play soccer, right? And I remember I was at a pizza shop and the NBA finals was going on,
Mhm.
and it was freaking Boston and the Lakers,
Yeah.
and I think that's in what really made, solidified me as a Laker,
Mhm.
because back then, it was like you was either Showtime or you was like, the Boston Celtics, back down, and
Yeah.
I'm in California, so I had to ride with the Lakers. Magic Johnson, Michael Thompson, Michael Cooper, Bob
Mhm.
Scott, I'm talking about,
Yeah.
Bob McAdoo. These guys were like my guys. I was like, oh my goodness,
Yeah.
the
They were
reason
good.
that I attack LeBron sometimes is LeBron, physically, right, is the most gifted athlete, like by far, he should be like, if this guy, wanted to, right, and crush it, he could freaking average 35 points and freaking 15 rebounds and, then your 10 assists or whatever, right? But his effort level,
No, but
as a coach,
that's not how LeBron is built though. Like LeBron is a team player. He's always been like that, man. Like the debate that I had with you earlier on when you were talking about, him having to depend on other people. If you remember the first year that he took the Cavs to the finals, he was kicking the ball out in the to the corner to what's this to is it Delonte West, right?
West, okay.
Yeah, yeah. He was making plays like that, man. Delonte West is no Dwyane Wade or Chris Bosh, right? But he was, like, he would always make the right basketball play. That's why I respect this game. If I'm going to a basketball game to watch somebody, like a scorer, like if I wanted to see someone put up 40, I'd watch KD or Kyrie or Curry, right? But if I wanted to see the whole package, the assist, the rebounding, the no-look pass and the scoring and the dunk and everything, just the complete package.
What if you just want to win?
I would actually pick LeBron. I would actually go for a LeBron than any of these greats right here. Yeah, because look at, like when I told you, look at,
he has to rely, even though he has to pass it to someone else, and then person makes it.
It is not about relying. That is what basketball is all about. Triple threat. If you attack the lane and you get double team, you need to kick it out, right? You don't try to force it, because that's what Jordan was doing the first 7 years, and he never went far, right?
No, see, this is the difference between Jordan and when people make that comparison, because they say, oh, well, LeBron, never lost in the first round, until
this year, man.
Yeah. Well, shit, he didn't make the playoff 3 times. 3 times. He didn't make the playoff at all 3 times.
When?
What do you mean when? He didn't make the playoff his first year.
Okay, he was a rookie, man. Jordan didn't make the playoffs in his first year.
Bite your tongue. Yeah.
I need to check my stats, man.
This is what I'm talking about, where the difference is, right? Jordan made the playoff every single year. Every single year. When he didn't make the playoff, he was 39 years old in Washington. Washington, D.C. That's when he didn't make the playoff, and that's a 40-year-old man or whatever, right? And he had no business being out there, because
honestly, honestly,
that team. He like look, I'm a realist, right?
yeah,
Jordan stumped the growth of a lot of players when he came back, to that Washington team. He shouldn't have came
that's true.
back, like I
Yeah,
fucked up that whole team and all that shit for his own ego, right?
yeah.
I keep it real. But, prior to that, if he would have just stayed retired, that was a hell of a what
Yeah.
he literally made the playoff every single year. And when the Boston Celtics sent him home in the first round, he left with 63 points against 4 Hall of Famers, right? And believe me, I watched that game where this motherfucker was like, bow, bow. And what he did to Larry Bird, in fact, I'm going to play that shit when we play this damn thing. Larry Bird, I'm sorry, you're going to be in this clip. And Louis
Yeah,
Edem,
that was a game that Larry Bird called him a god.
yeah, I mean, like he didn't go down. Like, see, the problem I have with LeBron is LeBron, is a phenomenal player, right? But at times, right, he lets other people outscore him. Like Michael Jordan, you've never been in a playoff game where you outscored Michael Jordan. It doesn't.
Yeah, but Michael Jordan wasn't going against the KD or Curry.
I know.
Or Thompson.
He was only
right?
going against Barkley and Bird and fucking the real greats. You these people that you naming now.
Was Barkley guarding him?
So great.
Was he guarding Barkley?
Was he guarding Barkley at times?
Yeah. No, man, come on now. Switches, but he wasn't picking Barkley up.
You're talking about a shooting guard guarding a power forward. You know what I mean? When the matchup happened, it happens in the basketball game, right? But this is what you fail to realize. Jordan was every year on the first team all defense. And he was also defensive player of the year and offensive player of the year and scoring leader. Like you understand? See, people think that Jordan only did one aspect. LeBron doesn't even play defense. Like, this is the problem that I have with. I have clips of LeBron, right? He gets beat, right, and he turns like this and watches you, and then he turns and complains to you like,
What the? I see that sometimes. Yeah.
I've played with players, right? I keep it real. I wear my heart on the sleeve when I play this basketball game. I take that shit too damn serious, right? I've thrown the ball in my Obine Casey, right? And I kept handing me the ball, instead of kicking the ball so we can run a fast break, because his fat ass want to fucking slow down and shit, right? And this nigga hands me the ball. I'm like, nigga, pass me the ball, man. Pass me the ball. I want to run. I want to run. And he kept doing this shit, and he would just, hand it back to me like this. So I have to stop and come back and get the ball, and he gets a running start, right? So I was this, right? I took the ball, just fired it on his back as he rushed. because I'm like, you're not fucking up my fast break all night. You know what I mean? Get your fucking ass on. Let's run.
Yeah.
I'm not teammate. Like they'll tell you, I'll cuss everybody out. I don't give a fuck. But at the end of it, this is I'm trying to win this game, right? I'm going to do everything possible. If me and LeBron is on the team, you would have seen a shouting match when he lets the go by. I'll be traded. I know I'll be traded. Yeah. Because you're LeBron, you're going to trade me. Yeah, I know I'm going to be traded. But before I leave, I'm going to motherfucking yell at your ass on this sidelines, and everybody's going to know what the fuck just went on. Because I'm not taking that blame for that shit.
He does that sometimes. He does that sometimes.
And this is where Jordan was different. He slapped the shit out of Steve Kerr. Right? And Steve Kerr fought him back. Yeah. He gained it back because he's like, I know this cat is going to fight with me, right? I feel that LeBron does is like he's like your partner that if you get shit going, he's like, oh, let's ride. He don't want to take the bad shot. Sometimes you're going to be the villain. That's why he's struggling right now with his free throws, right? Yeah. He doesn't want to go to the line. The Lakers, we shouldn't have to rely on AD. Whether that, AD is hurt or not, we've had LeBron. If he gave me 40 points and we lost, I'm like, you know what, shit. He did what he's supposed to do.
He was injured though. His doctor told him that, if he wanted to get to 100%, he would have to sit out the whole year. Did you see that story?
I don't give a shit about that story.
Yeah, but he said no. So he was. Okay. I mean, you could tell. I mean, if you look at it,
I'm not disputing.
He's hurt, man.
Yeah, I'm not disputing his hurt, but you know,
so
James Harden is hurt, right? You know what I mean? James Harden just tried to come back and play, right? You know, like, you know, and hurt his, you know, hamstring again. But he played. Look how James Harden played those few games that he played. He wasn't like, you know, like, oh, I'm not going to do nothing. He, you know, even though he got KD, you know, yeah, that's a different situation. But, you know, like my point is LeBron is like quick to like almost fake an injury. You know, I mean, I watched the finals. I promise you, bro. Look, I watched the finals when he lost to Golden State, right? They were beating the shit out of because I think what they beat them like 4-0. Did they win a game?
4-1. 4-1.
Okay.
Yeah. The last one was 4-0 though.
Yeah, the
last one was 4-0.
Yeah, like when he came out with a cast after the game, right? You saw that, right? Look. This was high-fiving people on the way out, right? All of a sudden, you can't move your hand at the press conference. Come on, dude. I was disappointed. I was like, oh, my God. Did it just come out? Like, who gets a cast that quick? Yeah.
Maybe somebody high-fived them with some juju, man. You never know.
Hey, look, LeBron is phenomenal. Like the guy, man. Like I remember, I think I was in the Middle East. It might have been Syria, and LeBron. This is like probably 2003. He was still, I think, in junior high school or high school or some shit, And we were watching his freaking game on ESPN. It was like ESPN International, and that fool went behind the back through the leg. Right, and this is in high school. In a game, like it's in the warm-up line or something. No, this is during the game, in traffic. He went behind the back, through the leg like this, and banged it on. I was like, oh my God, this guy is phenomenal. Right? Yeah. His very first game, I saw it live here in Sacramento. It was against the Sacramento Kings. I watched LeBron like, wow. I was like, this guy is going to be unreal. And I think he scored like 20-something points that night. You talk about a rookie. He had like 20 points, like 8 rebounds, like 7 assists or some shit like that, Wow. But, when the chips are down, there was one time I saw LeBron do what he's supposed to do.
When was that?
Against Boston Celtics.
Oh yeah,
they did. Right? Give me that LeBron. Where is that goddamn LeBron? Bring him to the goddamn Lakers. That's who I want. We wouldn't be sitting at home right now if you give me that damn LeBron. Fuck it.
What about the game 7 in 2016 against the Warriors? The one he blocked Iguodala.
He was
to play defense, right?
Defense at times LeBron, if it flashes of greatness, right? Like he does. That was another game where he did on point, right? But the thing about the Warriors situation is, it's like when he got Draymond Green suspended, right? Because hard to take that suspension. Because they would have lost that series, right? As soon as
you think so?
Oh, absolutely. They were down 3-1. They were done. They were down 3-1 and they were done. And
Draymond Green was in game 6 and 7.
He
still lost.
Remember that he got tangled up with Draymond Green. He got tangled up with Draymond Green. And he came woofing and they suspended Draymond Green, and the Warriors ended up losing, the next 2 games, right? And then where they had to win the game 7, I don't even. It just became too much, and Kyrie ended up, LeBron was phenomenal in game 7, by the way. Yeah, he was, and Kyrie, brought it home. And like he's supposed to. But my point is, like, LeBron, I watched him a lot of times when he just takes the night off, right? And, you know, it's just like, I'll, because he can take the night off and still get you 20 points.
Yeah. But he's always been like that, though. He's always been a team player like that, man, you know.
Is that being a team player when your team loses? When you could have done more? You know what I mean? That's like, you see,
I honestly don't think that he could have done more with the ankle sprain that he had, you know. I mean, you know how it is when you I don't think he could have done more. You know.
Do you know what kind
of one thing I'm gonna say though?
What kind of drugs they have on the
I don't think at the end of his career that LeBron is gonna surpass Michael Jordan. He's never gonna be the greatest. I've never I can go out there on Facebook and say he's the GOAT, you know, but you know, from free throws and from just showing heart and, you know, just, you know, the whole basketball game, you know, like he's always going to be number 2, but he's great. You know, like some of the attacks that I've seen, some of the attacks have been very unfair, you know, because this guy was hurt, man. You know, like I feel like because he brought a championship to the Lakers last year, I mean, give him a break, man, you know. He brought a championship after almost 10 years, man. Right?
Hey, but you know,
80 last year was on and off, you know. But LeBron was pretty consistent.
You have to realize, man, like, you know, in Los Angeles, right, you know, we're accustomed to winning. Even though we had a drought, right, you know, there's many championship banners up there. You know what I mean? Shit, Kobe put 5 up, you know, by himself, you know.
He put 2 up.
Well, 5 total.
Yeah, 5 total with
Shaq.
With Shaq.
Him and Shaq put 3 up together, then he put 2 by himself. Yeah. You know, but what I mean is Shaq, you know, when Kobe gave us five banners, you know, and you know, when you look at it, Magic gave us, I think, 4 or 5, you know, 5. Yeah, 5 banners too, right? Yeah, you know. So that's what I'm talking about. So we've had guys that you know produced at a high level, you know, Kareem, you know what I mean, like James Worthy, all these guys, they gave us banners, you know. So we used to greatness. You know, we're not Cleveland where you appreciate one. You know, everybody go crazy for the one. I mean, no disrespect to Cleveland, you know. Even though I got to tell a Cleveland story because, you know, shit never happens. I mean, it happened to me. I was like, God damn. I was with Sam Vincent, you know.
The basketball coach?
Yeah, yes. Okay. You know, and we were having lunch, you know, this is in Cleveland. You know, we were having lunch in Cleveland. And this was like with the national team, you know. I think we were doing some type of training there or something, you know. And anyways, you know, we're having lunch, you know, at a TGIF or something like that. You know, me and Sam, and we're just sitting there talking basketball, and a guy walks in, looks, you know, like a bum or something like that, right? Walks in off the street, you know, into the restaurant, you know. And mind you, we're just, you know, I'm just having chicken wings and, you know, and the guy just walks up and stands by the table, right? And, you know, uncomfortable. I look at Sam looks at me, you know, I'm like, I'm like, are you expecting somebody? You know, him like, are you expecting somebody? You know, like, you know, is this, you know, is he with you? You know. I don't want to be rude or nothing, you know.
Yeah.
He's looking at me like, you know, and so after like a minute of silence, you know, this guy like points at my chicken wing, like, hey, can I get a chicken wing? I just got out of jail. like true. I just got out of jail. I'm hungry and I'm homeless. I want to know if I can get one of your chicken wings. You know, I was like, you can have the whole chicken wing. Shit, you can have the whole motherfucker. Like, God damn. You know, like, I can't even eat the chicken wing no more. Just 3 points of my chicken wing. Shit.
Oh, man, that's so funny.
That's Cleveland, man.
I know.
You know, we ain't gonna appreciate just one little measly title. Take You're one title. I'm hating Cleveland. I'm just saying, people of Cleveland. I'm just talking shit, man. You know. But yeah, but that's a true story though. I promise. Ask Sam Vincent. That's what happened. The guy was like, "Hey, can I have your chicken wing?" That's the kind of shit that happens in Cleveland.
Hey, you gonna make me pull up?
Hang in there, people. We're talking to Louis Edem, and we're talking Nigerian basketball. We're talking LeBron. We're talking everything, man. We're gonna be right back. Give me one moment, man. We're gonna pay some bills. Hang in there. We're gonna be right back, Louis.
Man.
All right, welcome back. This is Kingsley Ogudere with Real Talk, and we're talking with Louis Edem about Nigerian basketball, African basketball, and like I said, everything else in between. As we always do, we're keeping it real. Everybody knows what's up. Louis, I just wanted to kind of reach out. You mentioned that you're an IT engineer right now. Is that the case?
That I was what?
What do you do for a living now? You said you're IT engineering or something?
Yeah. How'd
you transition into that from basketball?
I mean, like I have a bachelor's in animal science, so, and with science, like I did some computer courses. So when I was out there in Kuwait, there's a time that, I went out to hang out with our accountant, he was a great guy. He was from Egypt. And they had how those sports club in the Middle East, they would have basketball, football, volleyball, handball and all that. So they had a little IT department, So because I knew some things in computer, with setting up desktop and networking and all that stuff, they were struggling one time when I went to hang out with him, and he asked me to, and I told him that I wanted to take a look. He was like, what do you know, man? You're a basketball player, man, And I was like, let me take a look, So he said, okay, we've been struggling with it all day, So I went in there and I fixed it. And I had a side job, like they were like, okay, we want you to be helping out. So that's how I kind of like started. So when I came here, it was easy transition,
That's what's up. See, I love hearing stuff like that because, as we prepare, a lot of basketball players, you need to have, something else,
you need to have an education, man. It's very important. Very, very important, man.
And I talk to kids. I do a little bit of speaking now, and when I talk to kids about whether they want to play basketball, they want to be a rapper or do whatever, important having that education because you can very easily we can break an ankle, injury like we're just talking about injuries, right? And a lot of players right now, whether it's in the NBA or in college, everyone suffers injury, so you don't know which one's going to end your career, so
yes, exactly.
To fall back on, it's going to be very tough. So
that's true.
That's why it's very important. So I'm glad that that's a very positive example.
Yeah, thanks, man.
IT engineering and stuff. So that's really positive, and so I love hearing that. So please, when you share with people. I know everyone always want to highlight, the basketball playing aspect of it because that's what gets. But it's very, very positive to see, and that's one thing I love about Nigerians. Like Nigerians are very educated as it is. Nigerians are, the most educated immigrant group in America.
That's true.
All over the world.
Yeah.
So
we need to carry last.
Yeah.
We need to carry last.
That's for sure. And so I love it. Now, how did you get started playing basketball? Like how did you fall in love with the game?
It was in secondary school. I was in. I don't know if you have an idea how the secondary school system is in Nigeria. I was in SS1. That was year 4, and it was our sports week, right? So back in the day, they would actually sign up for table tennis, lawn tennis, basketball, soccer, and these sports were on different days, right? So because we did not want to stay in class, me and my friends, so we signed up for everything. So Monday through Fridays we were out, you know. So when it was a day for basketball and I went there, you know, there was this guy that I was kind of like looking down on that time because he was not very smart. But the way he was handling the ball and he could do a lot of stuff with the ball, I was kind of like envious. And I was like, man, if this guy that's so dumb, he's the dumbest guy in the class, man. But look at how he's doing magic with this ball, man. And then I realized that the basketball court was behind my house, you know. So I was like, man, the basketball court is right there. So it was just an instant falling in love, man. You know, like I just fell in love with the game and I just went at it. You know, you know how it feels, man. You know, it could be 5, 10 of you guys that start playing, but there's just something about the game with some individuals that is just different. You know, you just know that, you know, it's just transformative, right? You know, so for me, it was different. Like I knew I was supposed to do it. You know, like, you know, I'm a Christian. I'm a man of faith. You know, scripture says that the gift of a man make it way for him. You know, so like a lot of times, you know, like when kids find what they love doing, they don't have a lot of support from their parents. You know, thank God that I had the support of my mom. And, you know, like I have like my friends that I graduated with from college in Nigeria did, you know, some of them are still looking for jobs and a lot of them are struggling. You know, but because of basketball, I was able to travel, play professionally, you know, just, you know, I've been to different places, you know, I had the opportunity to come here too. So, you know, that was just life changing. So that's how it started. You know, it was secondary school, but it was just something different for me. You know, when I started playing, it was just a different feeling. You know, I knew I was supposed to do it.
Basketball, it has a way of doing it to you. You know, I know with me, it was also instant love. You know, the first time you pick up a ball, it's like, okay, I love this guy. I love this feeling. You know, have you thought about coaching or anything of that nature? You know, a lot of players sometimes get into.
I was actually thinking when I came out here, I was going to be coaching. You know, but when I saw how. You know, when I saw all that money in IT, I was like, hell no. You know, they don't pay a lot for, you know, coaches don't get a lot. If you're not Mike, what's it? Yeah. If you're not a coach at Duke, you know, you're not getting paid a lot, man. So
especially for the abuse that they put up with, you know.
Yeah.
And when I realized that, you know, like I was like, oh my goodness, I abused my coaches when I think about, you know, how rebellious I was at times. You know, I was like, I hope my players are not like that, you know. So I definitely understand it. You know?
Yeah. And then you can't really coach the kids here, you know, because like you gotta like treat them like babies, right? You know, like you gotta be sensitive, like walking on eggshells, you know. You know, like in Africa where you can literally stop a game, call timeout, and smack somebody, you know, like.
Yeah, you know? Out here they would call it abuse over here, you know.
Yeah, so it's different. So I was like, nah, man, if I'm not going to be able to smack someone, there's no need to coach because a lot of these kids need smacking, man.
Have you thought about like going to Nigeria? You plan any projects in Nigeria that you want to do or anything of that nature?
Yeah, you know, like I'm talking to a friend of mine about starting something, you know, like a mini basketball league. So it's in the works right now. We have a committee, an executive committee set up. I think it's 6 members right now, and we're talking. So we're starting with our own personal resources, you know, to try to start funding, and you know, hopefully, when we put it out there in the media, would get support. So I don't mind talking about it with you after, huh?
What areas are you doing it? Is it like a national thing or is it?
Yeah, Lagos, you know. So we're just going to write invitationals to those different teams and, you know, ask them to come. We'll take care of their feeding and accommodation, you know, and then there would be prize money for the first position and the second and third. So hopefully we're able to kickstart that thing. So this is the first time I'm actually bringing it out in public. So, you know, it's still in the works. So hopefully before the end of the year, we'll be able to, you know, start something. So.
Well, that's very positive because we need everything, especially with the situation of the league there now. So we
definitely.
everything that we can.
Definitely, man. We need something. Definitely.
Now, I definitely want to. I want to thank you for definitely joining us today. And is there anything that you want to get across? I know that we kind of touched on a little bit of things. Anything on your mind that you want to get across to people here?
Nothing really. We talked about everything. It feels good to finally be able to confront you and tell you to stop attacking LeBron, man. You need to slow down, man. He's a Laker now, man. Remember,
I always tell people, everyone always says, hey, you attack LeBron, you attack LeBron. I'm like, I don't feel like I really attack him. I feel like, I'm one of those people that point out, I point out things. And hopefully, I point out the right thing,
Okay.
And I love LeBron. I mean, I really do.
Okay.
The thing is, I just want him. If we're gonna pay you $44 or $45 million, probably $50 million next year, and we're gonna consider you the best player in the league, then you got to act like it. You got to act like it. I don't want you. And I don't want you like. I'm like, man, dude, put the team on your back. If you can't do it no more, I understand. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it.
He's old, man. He's 36. He's 36. He's 36, man.
Hey, Chris Paul is 36.
Yeah, but Chris Paul plays like an old man, man. He's not taking a lot of contact, right?
Not taking over the game. You're right about that. Devin Booker is right now. I'm like, man, that's a young beast.
Yeah.
That should kill his career, the little Kardashian. Is she really a Kardashian? Because it's not really a Kardashian because she's dating the little model chick. Isn't it the
model? Man. It is like,
Yeah.
I hope that doesn't work, man. That kid don't need that for real. He doesn't.
Man, he needs to concentrate. He needs to concentrate.
Yeah, he needs to concentrate, man.
Because if he doesn't get a championship this year, Chris Paul, that window is going to close. Now, that's another thing. Like, when you think about LeBron, right? Think about this, bro. When you're the GOAT, right, you got to keep people from getting championship. Who's LeBron? Who's LeBron keeping from getting championship? Nobody. They just take it.
I know. I mean, he's never really had real help apart from when he went to Miami.
Time out.
He's never. He won 2 with the Heat, man. When he got real help, right?
My goodness.
And then he went to Cleveland and lost Kyrie, lost Love, and took the Warriors to Game 6. And then he came the next year and won. And then the Warriors, thought that they had to go get KD to beef up the team, because they were scared of him, right? I mean, they said that. They said it. So, Jordan played against Barkley, Bird, but he never had to play against like a star-studded team like the Warriors, where you have 5 all-stars as starters, man.
This is what you fail to realize. Jordan played in an era where they didn't switch teams. They didn't run from one team to another, right? And he played against Clyde Drexler, Hall of Famer, right?
One person in the whole team.
No.
And he had Pippen. He had Dennis.
Pippen. How many points did Pippen average?
Pippen was playing a bigger role than just scoring on the team, man.
Oh, okay.
The defense taking all those charges, and now
But this is. But if Pippen played with LeBron today, you know what they would say? He needs more help. He only has Pippen. He doesn't even score. You know what I mean? I'm keeping it real. Look, let me tell you this. Let me tell you an interesting stat line. Pippen never averaged 20 points in the finals. 20 points. Can you imagine? Do you know how many LeBron's teammates that averaged 20 points in the finals?
How many?
Kyrie averaged 20-something points in the finals.
Who else?
Okay. Dwyane Wade, 20-some things in the finals. Which is only won 4 times. I can't name, you know what I mean? It's not like he's got a long list where I'm gonna be like, oh. You know, shit. He only got 4 wins. Dwyane Wade was averaging 20 points. You know, Kyrie was the other one. 20 points. Anthony Davis. Like, what's he averaging? 30 points? Shit.
I'll give that to you.
That's my point, bro. Like, this man, like, you know,
I'll let you off on that one.
Every year he's like, oh, I need help. This fool has like he had more all-stars on the Miami Heat than they got ballet dancers and shit, you know. and he was still like, I need more help. Everybody's a scrub all of a sudden. Look at the Lakers. They had a deep bench. It was considered one of the deepest teams. Just got Andre Drummond, another 2020 guy. You know, and I mean, the team was tough.
Drummond didn't really show up though.
But
played like shit.
Neither did LeBron. It's funny that we can criticize everybody else, like, you know, this person didn't play.
High ankle sprain, bro.
LeBron is hurt.
High ankle sprain. Difficult to play with a high ankle sprain.
Do you think LeBron was the only person that's hurt on that team?
Who else was hurt?
Shit, but Drummond ain't telling you all his injuries. That's why you like, oh, he played like shit. You know, like nobody says nothing about it because he's not gonna come out and tell you my finger's hurt, my leg is hurt, my neck is hurt.
Drummond wasn't hurt, man.
I'm just saying.
Struggling all season. He was struggling.
Who Drummond?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was still killing. He killed the Warriors when he grabbed all them rebounds and sent them home. See, this is the funny thing is like, you know, basketball, you know, and you know this very well. People only, they only remember what you did for them. You know, what did you do last game, right?
That's what you do.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
I don't forget.
Forget about last year.
Oh, I didn't forget about last year. I told you who our MVP last year was. You know, AD.
How?
He led us in points. He led us in steals. He led us in block shots.
He led by 2 points in the whole finals combined. But the finals, like the finals with the Heat, LeBron led. But when we're talking about the whole playoffs from first series to semis to finals and then to the main finals, Davis led with only 2 points. Only 2 points and 2 assists.
What about rebounds?
I didn't check that. You know, when you talk about Davis leading, that's what I checked.
Yeah, he let him rebound, points, steals, and his the only thing that LeBron let in was assists.
But in the finals proper, LeBron led.
LeBron showed up. The Heat, you know, like I said, I don't want to say LeBron is a fake tough guy, right? You know, I don't want to say that. You know, because he's really a great player, right? But when he sees that you have nobody that can stand up to him, he's like the bully that, you know, pounds his chest like, When the Miami Heat went down with all their injuries, yeah, he ran right through them. He didn't need, I don't need AD at that point, but he needed AD for all the tough matchups. You know what I mean? That's what AD. Just okay, like against these guys when AD, you know, was hurt, right? When the AD had a shitty game, you know, the first game, right? You know, and they lost, and you know, so he had to come back. Like, you know, AD was like, "I'm not going to do this again." You know, and LeBron was like, "Hey, we know he's going to bring it." You know, and the 2 games that they won against Phoenix, AD had 35 points.
Yeah, they won because of AD.
You know, so it's like, you know, and that was that's how the playoffs was last year. Let's say if they would have got through Phoenix, the same thing would have happened with the next series. AD would have had to ball out. AD would have had to ball out. Then by the time they get to the finals, oh, LeBron is safe. You know, he's healed. Okay, so he'll get Finals MVP. It's like okay, like he did all the work. D Wade did the same shit in Miami. D Wade carried them in Miami. I swear to God, he carried them. You know, I promise you, I watch playoff is different than regular season, right?
Yeah.
Playoff time, like there's a way that they defend you in a playoff, right? Everything slows down, you know. And in the fourth quarter, if it's a close game, I guarantee it. Like if I'm playing against LeBron, oh, I would love that shit. I would be in his ear. You know what? You know who used to try to get to him is Stevenson. Right?
Stevenson was crazy.
He did a good job when he was in Indiana, but Stevenson is a hothead. He doesn't know how to control himself. He went too far, you know, when he started blowing kisses and like, don't do the dumb shit, you know. Just concentrate on the game, you know. Yeah. There was a guy that that I played against in Lebanon, Jamal Robinson. Phenomenal player. This guy is 6'7". 230 pounds. I'm to be honest with you, you know, he when he gets me in a block, I'm freaking 6 feet. You know what I mean? This fool is 6'7", right? And like he actually played with the Miami Heat. You know what I mean? Like like the Miami Heat brought him in, and you know, I don't know, he lasted. I don't know how long he lasted, but he was with the Miami Heat right after we, you know, left Lebanon, right? Mm-hmm. So that was the caliber of that motherfucker, the player he was, you know. So that's I basically said all this to give him a compliment, and then I'm gonna tell you how I got in his head, right? I remember, you know, we were playing against Sporting, you know, what was the Riyadh is what they called him, right? And I'm trying to body this fool up. Remember, he's 6'7", 230, you know. I'm, you know, 6 feet at the time, 195, 200, you know what I mean? That kind of thing. You know, I'm pushing him, you know, trying to, you know, keep him out, right? This fool catches the ball. He does the Jordan thing on me, just kind of like on me like that. And I knew I was in trouble. He turned around, just shot over me, right? You know, because he's like, you know, like in the corner right there, you know, on the post. I'm like, shit. You know, I'm like, if he does this shit 2-3 more times, where am I going? There's nothing I can do about it. You know, because I can't even push him out, but I'll foul out the game, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, you ain't got no jump shot. You know, I mean, I'm pushing him out. Like the next time out, you ain't got no jump shot. So he squares up against me. Now he want to show me he got a jump shot.
And then he starts missing up.
Out, right? You know, before he knows it, he's shooting 3-pointers, you know. And on the other side, crossing his ass over and getting to the rack. You know, so it was kind of that little mind game, right? And I know I got him frustrated and then, you know, foul trouble, you know, because now, you know, I got him thinking about it. I'm shooting 3 on the other end. I'm having fun now because he's missing all those fucking, you know, elbow jumpers now instead of where you have me out. The two, because I even tried to flop and they didn't give it to me. You know what I mean? Put his shoulder down and just boom. I was like, okay. And then the next time he turned around and shot over me. I was like, oh, I'm in trouble. You know, I got in his ear. You know, and that motherfucker started shooting jump shots and shit. I was like, okay, good. You know?
I know.
So, that's how it is, man. But you know, at the end of the day, man, we got to do what we got to do.
Yeah.
I definitely want to thank you, man. I want to say any party shots, man, before we go out here, man.
Come on. We'll settle now, man. We'll settle, man.
You got to come back on, though, man. We got to come back on.
Anytime, man.
More, man. Like, you know, maybe we'll get your insights on these playoffs as we progress. You know, homeboy over there with the Nets. I'm rooting for Email Doka with the Nets over there.
I know, man. Yeah, that's a homeboy right there, man. You know, hopefully he wins this one.
Yeah. It'll be nice. Plus, you know, Steve Nash. I'll say this. I grew up in the Bay Area here. You know, and Steve Nash. I used to play basketball with him on Tuesdays and Thursdays. at West Valley College, you know, we would have some battles, you know, and so Steve Nash is a good guy, you know, very humble guy, you know, and you know, so you know, I'm happy for him that he's in the position that he is, and so I like to see the homie get one. But anyway, man, I want to thank you, man. Come back on. Man. We're gonna make it live, man. It's a pleasure talking.
Oh, man, thanks, man. Pleasure talking to you too, man.
All right, my brother. Take it easy, bro.
Man, say what up to the family.
All right. One love, man. This is Real Talk with Kingsley Obadera. This is where you catch all the real sports. We do incredible things like this shot. Hi. This is Real Talk with Kingsley Obadera. This is where you catch all the real sports. We do incredible things like this shot. Hi. Real Talk with Kingsley Obadera. This is the video podcast where you get all of the African sports, all of the inside stories, everything that you ever wanted to know about African basketball. We'll give you all the insights, all the juicy details that you want to know. We're going to keep it real. We're going to keep it sports. Believe me, this is going to be hype. Stay tuned. You don't want to miss this.
Yeah. I played for a few local teams, you know. I was in a national team camp with you one time, and I think it was about it was in 2003. You know, they were hosting. That was the year Nigeria hosted the African Games. I don't know if you remember, you know, but you know, you guys were the big dogs back in the days. You know, we were rookies on the team, so.
I was trying to fit in where I can, man. You know, these guys.
Oh man, you were like LeBron on that team, man. You know, so. Yeah, but we were dropped. You know, that was one of the. I think the only chance that I got to be on the same team with you, at least while the camp lasted. You know, but it was a great experience, man. You know.
Now, one thing I always noticed about you were always physically fit. You know.
Yeah.
What is this guy doing? Is he lifting the whole house or like?
I mean, you know how it is, man. I mean, you've been a pro, you know, like you got to stay ready, you know, just, you know, staying ready is both mentally and, you know, physically, you know, you got to get your body ready for the game. You know, it's not easy playing pro. I mean, you know, it's not easy, man. You know?
We had a very phenomenal.
Yeah, you guys played the World Cup?
Yes. Yeah. We went to World Championship in Greece.
Mm-hmm.
That was a phenomenal camp, you know, and, you know, I think in my time playing with the Nigerian national team, that was the best camp that we had.
Yeah, that was when this guy was still the basketball chief.
Dwyane Buba.
Yeah, Buba. Yeah. Buba was good for the game.
Yeah,
Buba was good for the league, man.
You know, I have to say he was. You know,
and then this guy Kida, you know, like I feel like I need to throw that in. This guy Musa Kida that just got in, you know, like I know things are like a little stagnant right now, but I think that he would be good for our basketball because I've seen some of the things that he's done with the local league. You know, even though they're frustrating him, you know, I don't think he's there for himself. Honestly, I don't care what people put online. You know, I don't know the guy personally. I'm not trying to buy favors for him. As a matter of fact, like I'm not thinking about going back home and doing basketball because of how the atmosphere is. But I think the guy can bring a lot, you know, to the game because he loves the game genuinely. And before he got into the basketball politics, he was doing a lot in the background in the South, you know, in Port Harcourt. It's just very unfortunate that he got into this fight with Ahmed, you know, and you know, and see how that has affected the whole basketball league. And, you know, this guy's sitting out for like, I think this is the 4th year now, and there's no league. You know, but I was like, I just wanted to take a moment, you know, to just give him a shout out, and, you know, like, he should hang in there and keep fighting, you know.
And you know, and I'm like, man,
you can't be a Laker fan and be attacking LeBron the way you do, man. Come on now.
Hey, you know,
come on, man. He's a Laker now, right? You wouldn't attack Magic like that if he had a bad series, right? Would you?
I'll tell the truth, man. Like,
they were good.
I attack LeBron sometimes is LeBron, you know, physically, right, is the most gifted athlete. You know, he could freaking average 35 points and freaking 15 rebounds and, you know, then your 10 assists or whatever, right? But his effort level. Now
ball is all about triple threat. If you attack the lane and you get double teamed, you know, you need to kick it out, right? You don't try to force it, because that's what Jordan was doing the first 7 years, and he never went far, right?
No, see, this is the difference between Jordan and, you know, when people make that comparison, because they say, oh, well, you know, LeBron, you know, never lost in the first round, you know, until this year, man. Yeah. Well, shit, he didn't make the playoff 3 times. 3 times. He didn't make the playoff at all 3 times.
When?
What do you mean when? He didn't make the playoff his first year.
Okay, he was a rookie, man. Jordan didn't make the playoffs in his first year.
Bite your tongue. Yeah.
I need to check my stats, man.
This is Real Talk with Kingsley Obadera. This is where you catch all the real sports. We do incredible things like this shot. Hey!